Hello, and welcome to the Wood & Twine Fiber Studio YouTube channel. My name is Jule, and I'm the dye and maker behind Wood & Twine Fiber Studio, which is a small creative space located here in northern Germany, where I play with botanical dyes and natural yarns. Welcome to a new podcast episode, and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Today I wanted to sit down and update you on my current knitting projects that I've been working on recently. And just thought I would take you along on a little cozy podcast episode. I hope you're well. Spring is really arriving here, although today is the first day in maybe a week where it's a bit drizzly and, slightly more miserable. Here in Hamburg, where I'm located, it's usually we get a lot of rain in general and more miserable weather. So this past week has been so surprisingly great, and it really felt like spring already. So I'm kind of in between. I am still feeling my sweater knits at the moment, but I'm also kind of inspired to do spring and summer projects already, just because it has been so nice. And but my current projects that I'm going to share with you are still more in the winter season inspiration, I guess. I've finished a couple of things, and I've also cast on a couple of new things, and I have more cast on plans at the moment. So it's quite exciting, and I didn't have a ton of knitting time, but I'm trying to get into a routine where I'm also taking more time for it, even though it's a very busy season for me at the moment. For those of you who don't know, I also run my own brand, that's Wood & Twine Fiber Studio, where I sell my own plant-dyed yarn, and all of my bases are custom spun for me. So, many people in the yarn or fiber industry, I guess, have this kind of summer off-season or spring and summer where things are slowing down a little bit, and that is usually when I get really busy because I have to coordinate all the shearings and getting all the fiber in for new blends. And, depending on what sheep breeds I work with, some of them have to be shorn twice a year and some of them only once. So, I don't really have this kind of spring, summer off time, which I absolutely don't mind. It's fine. It's just that, it's slowly starting to get to the point where I'm just working on so many things at once, that it's a bit hectic. But I'm trying to make time for my knitting and, make sure that there is enough time for that as well. I guess without further ado, I will start sharing some projects with you. Some finished objects and some cast-ons, and then I will also share some cast-on plans with you. So with all the spring vibes coming in, I'm just so inspired, and I don't know, I want to cast on all the things. There is a lot of inspiration going on, and sometimes I wish I had another pair of hands to knit all the projects. I will try to limit myself and be mindful about how much time I can actually make for knitting. But I'm also traveling next week. So I have a bit of a train ride to cover. So I guess I will have some knitting time there. So let's see how far I can get. Anyhow, let me start sharing my finished objects with you. Right, so the first finished object that I wanted to share with you is something that you might have seen in one of my recent preview videos. And this is my Terra cardigan. And this was a test knit for Joanna Philippe, who's the designer behind this beautiful piece. And it was a very fun knit. It's this type of textured stitch that is created by slipped stitches every, 4 or 5 rows in a certain way. And that creates this beautiful texture. And it's all over the cardigan. And I feel like it creates this, effect that it's a true wardrobe staple that can be worn in pretty much any occasion, but it still has this, some interest to it. It's not just a plain basic piece. So it also has this beautiful shoulder detail that I'm just showing here. It's So you kind of knit this along while doing the back piece, and then you pick up stitches and you knit the fronts, and this is turning out very neatly, I think, which is what I love. And then you generally knit it from the top down with this type of European shoulder construction, I think it's called. And then, you add the collar and the sleeves by picking up stitches again, and then you finish the sleeves in the round, as well as the body after joining the front and back pieces. So, yeah, I've knitted this, I think, in a size 5. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I will definitely link my Ravelry project down below so you can reference what size I made. Because I wanted this to be more of like an outerwear jacket kind of piece that I could throw over a dress and, have it as a kind of transition jacket that I could wear, now that it's spring and it's getting a bit warmer. And yeah, it turned out like I envisioned it. And yeah, I'm super happy with how it turned out. I also love that the button band and also the neckline, they are finished up with a tubular cast off, which just looks incredibly neat, I think. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. The yarn I used is my Nurture yarn, which is a single ply fin sheep yarn. That's a fingering weight. So I held that one double to get gauge. And what I absolutely love about this pattern and yarn combo is that, I don't know if you can see, but the texture is not super crisp. It's rather, wait, is it working? Yeah. It's rather slightly more blurry, but still very visible. But I've seen, other testers versions where the texture was a lot more crisp. And what I really like about this is that it makes the whole thing a very uniform fabric and the texture a very elegant, subtle look in my eyes. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I will also make sure to insert some clips of me wearing this one so you can have more of an idea of how it fits. This is very oversized for me right now. So I probably could have gone some sizes, maybe 1 or 2 sizes lower, but I wanted it to be like very oversized and cozy and, just an easy jacket that I could throw over any kind of dress without it being too tight. So yeah, that's definitely how I envisioned it, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it. So the buttons that I used, they are from Merchant & Mills. I think I have mentioned these a couple of times before, but they are this stamped metal brass kind of button, and I think they are, wait, is it focusing? I think it's focusing on my face. So it's this kind of brass metal button that's super simple and minimalistic, and I really like how it looks. I will also link them down below because I feel like I'm using them quite a lot, and every time I use them, someone asks me about them. They are super versatile, and I think they are, not as much as of a statement, but rather, quite subtle, and I really like how they look. They are just, quite simple, but also elegant, and I think I have recently placed an order to have a bit of a stock of these because I don't know, many times I'm trying to use another button and then I still gravitate to them much more and then I use them again. So I think it's one of my favorite button models that I've had in the past years. The sleeves are relatively wide and fit. I think the final pattern, this was a test knit, so the final pattern I think has a few more increases, or at least it's to have a bit less of the width. But I actually like it because, as mentioned, I want to layer this over dresses, and sometimes I have those linen dresses that are relatively wide in the sleeves, so it's quite nice that I have some roomier sleeves for my liking. I feel like I kind of haven't given you enough info about the yarn, so this Nurture yarn is a very special yarn that I am making in collaboration with a small mill in Finland run by Annina. It's called Iden Kehremö, and she also sources all of the fleeces herself and gets them from the shepherds and, then scours them and cards them and spins them. So it all happens within a super small region, and it has a very minimal footprint when it comes to transportation, which is what I really like. And since this is a single ply yarn with a lot of halo in itself, it's super easy to hold it double. As you can see, the drape is not compromised by this being held double at all. Sometimes I feel like when you hold a certain yarn double, it can sometimes be a bit more of a denser or stiffer fabric. But since this is not plied, it's a single ply, so it's not two plies put together. I think it's much easier to use it double-stranded. And yeah, that's what I did. I think I used around 600 to 700 grams. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I will also have those info linked in my Ravelry project, as well as the needles and everything, if you want to reference it. I also wanted to give you a bit of a close-up of the yarn. This is how the yarn looks. You can see that it's just a single ply, and yeah, that's how it looks. And then I held it double, and I pulled it from the center and the outside just to make it easier, and that was super easy to do. At some point I was using 2 cakes, but then it was really cumbersome to travel back and forth from the studio with it, and I decided to just start pulling from the ball from both sides, and that was also super easy to do. So this is Nurture in the colorway Mocha, and if I'm not mistaken, as of now, as I'm recording this, we should still have some of this in stock. So if you're curious about it, you can check out my shop that I will also link down below. Because it's more of like a jacket type, I didn't crop it as much, as you can see. It's still a little bit cropped, just because I'm short, shorter than most people. So, but just so you know, it's relatively close to what the pattern calls for in terms of length measurements. The pattern's also available as of now, and I will link it down below for you if you want to make it. You can find it in my Ravelry project, and yeah, this is my Terra cardigan, and I'm very in love with it. It's getting a lot of wear already, and I think now that the weather is warming up and, we can slowly think about putting our winter coats away, I think this will get even more wear. But yeah, that's my Terra cardigan, and I'm incredibly happy with it. Next up is kind of not really a finished object, but I think it kind of calls. I never know where to put like single socks when I'm recording a podcast episode, but this is my Petra sock, my first one. I haven't finished the second one yet, but this is a new pattern by Laura McLean of Sunday Morning Knits, and it is this beautiful kind of broken rib, I'm not sure how it's called, type of texture, and then it also goes across the heel, has a heel flap and gusset construction, and then it's going down the whole foot, and then it has just a regular stockinette sole. I loved knitting this. I was also a test knitter for this, and it's designed in my over sock yarn, which is also what I used for my own version. I cannot say pear yet because the second one is still on the needles, but yeah, I used over sock for these, and that's also the yarn that they have been designed in. I think this was just great. I think I told this in my recent colorway preview video, but it's a very, very good travel project because the pattern is just a little bit more than, a stockinette vanilla sock, but it's super easy to memorize, and you can also like read the pattern really well while you're knitting it, so it's quite easy to maintain even when you're on the go or you're with friends or, in a social situation. The cast-on is a German twisted cast-on for some elasticity, and then there's the textured pattern going down the rest of the sock on both sides. And then it's just a standard heel flap and gusset, and also the standard toe. And I really like them. I think they are just really wearable, and still has a bit more interest in knitting than, just working a simple stockinette vanilla sock. But there is nothing wrong with working a vanilla sock, but I think sometimes it's easier to have some texture going on to keep oneself engaged. And these are also knitted slightly larger than my own size, and I think I will give these to my partner just because he always has cold feet and I have a lot of socks in my own size, so it might be that these are going to his sock stash. At least they should be fitting him size-wise. So yeah, still need to do the second one, but I have some traveling in the next couple of weeks, so it should be done in no time. But I'm still kind of considering this a finished object. Yeah, but this is my Petra sock, my one Petra sock. I wholeheartedly recommend the pattern, and also Laura, the designer behind this, is a wonderful human. She also made a Petra shawl, and I think a Petra hood, and a Petra headband. I think there is a whole series of Petra patterns that feature this texture detail that I really love. So yeah, definitely go check her out, and I will link my project down below again, so you can also access the pattern easily and also find out how much yarn I used for the one sock and how what needle size and all that jazz. I will reference that in my Ravelry project again for you. But yeah, I think it's always nice to have one project on the go, although I'm quite a monogamous knitter, but I always have like one small project on the go for a while. So this is my current on the go project, the second one. So really looking forward to continuing. Next up, I have my current main work in progress. That is again in one of my favorite project bags from Milda of Payauta Knits. No, it's Payauta Makes. I'm sorry. Milda of Payauta Makes. And if you've been watching a couple of my episodes, you know that I absolutely love her bags. Not sponsored. I'm just absolutely a fan. And they are all hand sewn and hand embroidered. So this is my current bag of choice because it's quite big, and my current main whip has grown to a relatively big size. So yeah, they are hand sewn, and then Milda embroiders these beautiful motifs. I will definitely link her down below so you can check her out. The bags are of incredible quality, and I own a decent selection of them by now, and I also have gifted them to friends and family who are knitters. They are just beautiful, so wholeheartedly recommending Milda's work. And now I'm trying to get the project out of here. It's already grown quite a bit, mainly because I am trying to finish this on time for presenting it for a new yarn launch, because the yarn that I'm knitting this one in is making a comeback, and some of you might know or like recognize it when you see it. So this one is my current project, and it is the Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow of the Creya Bayer. And this is, I'm holding it a bit awkwardly because you cannot really see the shape otherwise. It's a zipper sweater, so it has this zip opening. And yeah, it's this new re-release that she recently did, because this pattern was originally released in, I think, a fisherman's or half fisherman's rib. And now she made the stockinette stitch version. And when I saw it, I immediately knew that I had to make this one. So I am making this one for my partner in a size 4. And the new pattern also features like a feminine and a masculine fit. So you can choose whichever fit you want. It's like a mega pattern with all kinds of options in it. So, and how you do this, it's very clever. You cast on for using a Judy's Magic cast on, you cast on for the collar, and then you work it kind of double, and then you fold it and knit it together. Hence like you can see it here, that it's like double, and it results in this very squishy collar that I think is very nice. And then you basically have a bit of an interesting construction between, you know, how the shoulders are shaped. And then you shape the fronts and the back piece, and then you join them in the round and you pick up stitches for the sleeves again. And that's the current state that I'm doing, because I think I've spoken about this a couple of times, that I really like to have people try or me or other people I knit for, have try on pieces with sleeves. Because I think, sometimes when you pick up stitches from an armhole, it pulls the armhole a bit and it pulls up the fabric underneath. And sometimes when you try on without the sleeves and then in the end you try it on with sleeves again, the length might have changed. So what I think is the most accurate to make sure that it fits the way it should is to make sure that I join in the round, and then I usually knit whatever's left in the skein, as you can see here. Whatever's left in the skein, I knit into the body length. And then before I, attach another skein, I start doing the sleeves. And then people can actually try on properly and see how it fits. And then I, with the sleeves on, I then add the length to the desired length. That's how I usually do it. I started doing this especially because I am slightly shorter than most people, or at least I'm shorter than what most knitting patterns are designed for, if you go to the standard schematics. And so I always had to adjust my own length to my liking. And that's how I feel like I get the most accurate results. And in this case, because now I know that I usually go for a certain type of body length for my own pieces, but since this is for my partner, I definitely have to do some trying on and see how long I have to actually knit the body for. But yeah, this has been so much fun, especially because the construction is quite interesting and I absolutely love the yarn. So the yarn is my Shetland Welsh Mountain DK in the colorway Obsidian, which is a natural sheepy brown black. And this one has been around for some years, and I always have it, in limited batches, just because it's a very it consists of relatively rare fibers, which is black Welsh sheep mainly, and then also some Shetland in black, or like natural black color. So yeah, I absolutely love the shade of this. It's, it has this, it's not a completely black, but it has this natural warmth to it that I think is very nice. And yeah, absolutely wearable. I love it. And yeah, my partner does too. So I'm making him this sweater because I'm trying, because obviously it's also going to serve as kind of a shop sample. And so I can show you how this yarn knits up. But I also want to be more diverse in my sample choices, and also offer some more masculine fit options, so it's more diverse. I mean, it's always easiest for me to do a female shaped piece, just because my body is a female shape. But I want to have more variety in my samples. So this is, where I'm going with this. And then it goes to my partner, who's going to be happy about it. So yeah, I have just finished up the first sleeve, and I think not long, I'm almost done with the decreases on the second one. I always get questions about my little progress keeping stitch marker situation here. I do these to keep track of my decreases, because I think sometimes obviously I can count rows in my phone, or with a row counter or something, but I think it's really helpful to make sure that you don't miss anything when you just mark every decrease. And in this case, because you started doing decreases every 8 rows and then every, I think, 6 or something like that, I also changed the color of the stitch markers to make sure that I can mark off how many I have to do of each of the decreases. Yeah, this is where I'm going. You can see the fabric here. It's, this very lively black-brown. It knits up in a very beautiful, squishy, rustic fabric that still I mean, for me, this is definitely still next to skin soft, and my partner also said he didn't mind it at all, because I needed to try with the swatch. I needed him to feel it, because the collar is relatively high, so it will go up against his neck, and he has to make sure that he can tolerate it. But he said it's definitely soft for him. So, but it has a certain type of rusticity to it, and it has this beautiful, bouncy give that I really love. And I have knitted a couple of pieces in this yarn before, and I just think every time I pick it up again, I'm just like, I love knitting with this. And it's just a very special and unique yarn. And yeah, I'm incredibly happy. I should potentially do a video with all my samples that I ever made in this yarn. There you can definitely see that I really love it. But yeah, I really hope to finish the sleeve tonight, and then start adding some length to the body. And then it also has like some facing on the inside. You can see that I've put some stitches on hold, and that's going to be the facing on the inside, because there's going to be a zipper. And I am really happy. I went with a black-brown zipper by YKK, which is a zipper brand that I think has really great quality. And I'm quite happy with the color matching, because I was first thinking about doing just a black, but I think that would have been more visible. And I think the brown black is almost a perfect match. And I also went with this kind of brassy metal, so it's a bit less harsh of a contrast. But I think the zipper pull, this is going to be a bit niche now, but I think the zipper pull is a bit too rough for me. And therefore, I also ordered 2 different options of the zipper pulls to add and see which one I like most. I think I like the tiny, thin one the most, but I'm also putting, I will try how the leather one looks, just to see which one I prefer. But I think they are both, a bit of a more elegant option than the original one that's quite, I don't want to say chunky, but you know what I mean. It's a bit not the most beautiful one. So yeah, this zipper I will have to insert into the opening here. So I we'll need to study some tutorials on how to do it best, because I'm always really picky when it comes to sewing on buttons or doing zippers. So I've never done a zipper into a knit before. So if you have great tutorials, feel free to share them with me, and I will make sure that I will educate myself before attempting to sew it in. I think I will definitely do some tacking to make sure that the position's perfect before then hand sewing it. And the good thing is that I have also a fingering weight version of this yarn that's even thinner than the DK weight, and I think I will use that as a sewing thread, just to make it easier. But yeah, so far about my Lanark. The pattern is also out, I think, since like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3. And I will link my Ravelry project down below, so you can also reference everything. And yeah, I'm quite excited about it. I think now that I'm seeing this, I'm feeling like I need a version for myself even. I usually like slightly more feminine style when it comes to sweaters. I'm not a huge fan of like zippered Troyer type sweaters for myself, but when I'm looking at this, I'm actually really starting to like this. And I don't know, maybe I will end up needing one for myself. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely super in love with the fabric it creates. I also did a tubular bind off. I don't think the pattern calls for it, but I did a tubular bind off on the sleeves, just for some elasticity, and because I think it looks really finished and polished when you do the tubular bind off. I'm using the main fabric I'm doing on a 4mm needle, and then the cuffs and the collar are done in a 3.5mm. And I think this is the perfect sweet spot for this yarn that is like a 230 meters per 100 grams. in a 3-ply construction, which makes it very round and plump. So yeah, I think it's a great match. And I was doing a swatch. I did swatch, obviously, but I was already pretty sure that it's gonna be a perfect match because I have knitted with this yarn before, so I knew that it would work with the pattern. But yeah, so far about my Lenac, I have about, I think, 5 days left to finish this off. So there will be a bit of like marathon knitting, because I really want to showcase this in the preview video for the next month, which is actually when this yarn is going to have a little bit of a restock. So now you have a first glimpse of what's coming for the March collection. I'm bringing it back, and I'm incredibly happy because over the years I've received a lot of lovely feedback from y'all that you really love this yarn, and I'm really happy about it. And yeah, I can also, because I have it here right now, I can also show it to you how it looks in fiber form. So this is, you can see the different strands of fibers, marling together in the yarn. And I think it's just such a lively color. Absolutely loving it. So yeah, that's what I'm currently working on. Wish me luck for my little finishing marathon of this project. I'm determined, and I want to make sure that I will finish it in time. And then I think how I will attempt the zipper is that I'm going to block it before I will sew into the zipper into it, just because currently the opening for the zipper is like rolling. And I think in order to have it laying flat and be very neat, I will block it before I sew in the zipper. But yeah, I'm grateful for any tips and tricks because this is actually something very new to me. Then yeah, so far about my Lenac, and now let me tell you a little bit about what my next cast-on plans are. Next up, I think I'm ready for some summer projects. And I also have some travels, so I might do a couple of, more lightweight, smaller projects. And one thing I will definitely cast on next is the Röllike. I'm not even attempting to pronouncing this correctly, but it's a new pattern by Lärke or Fibertails, which is a small lace weight shawl, not lace weight, small lace pattern shawl. And also a thinner yarn, but you can do it in any yarn weight. And I'm thinking of that one because it's really cute and it's very summery. And I don't know, I saw it, and the first time I saw it, I knew that I had to make it. So that's definitely one of my next cast-ons. I also signed up for another test knit for Joanna Philippe, who also did the Terra cardigan. She also made a Terra vest. And that one has a really nice bow tie closure at the back. And honestly, it's just so nice. I saw the picture on Instagram and I was sending it to my mom, who's also she's a great knitter and she has taught me how to knit, and she also does a lot of the shop samples for me. So we often just send each other patterns that we were inspired by, and we were literally sending the same pattern to each other in the same minute. You could see our chat and we both sent it to each other and we were like, oh, this is nice. So yeah, I had to make it. I have an idea of what yarn I want to use, which is going to be a new blend that I hope to be bringing to the shop in, a couple of months. So I will have to swatch and see if it's suitable. If not, I might just use Nurture again because that really was such a good yarn and pattern match. So that's definitely on the list. And then I'm also going to be knitting a summer tee, which is going to be a test knit for Tori Yu, whom we made a super nice summer top from last year, and I really love her patterns. So yeah, I'm super excited for the test knit. I'm currently not remembering how the tee was called, but I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen so you'll know. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And yeah, those are my plans for now. I'm not sure which one I will go first or second. I think I will go one garment and then one the shawl pattern on the side. And then I also want to finish my Petra sock, my second one. So I'm sorry I forgot that one. I would have showed you the work in progress, but I actually left it at home. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring it. But yeah, I'll show it to you next time. And then, yeah, those are my plans so far for casting on. And I also have a couple of spinning projects on my list. So I hope next time I will be able to share some spinning projects with you as well, because I don't know, I'm such a seasonal spinner. I feel like my spinning mojo really comes back whenever spring is around. And then I spin a lot during spring and summer, and I kind of then turn back to knitting during the winter months. So yeah, I'm definitely a seasonal spinner. But I also have some plans for this year's Tour de Fleece. Spoiler alert, no, but I'm definitely thinking of a couple of fun projects for Tour de Fleece. So I want to get back into my spinning rhythm before that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning currently. As mentioned, I'm having a few travels on the schedule for the next couple of weeks. So it might be that I'm just, needing some easy on-the-go projects additionally to the ones I have already planned, just to be able to, attend social events or, be knitting on something while I'm traveling. That's not too complicated or requires too much of my attention. So yeah, that is the plan for that so far. But I guess so far I'm done with sharing what I'm currently working on with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad that you're here. And yeah, I guess there's nothing more to say than see you in the next one. Happy knitting. Bye.